Welcome to Training Guide 01, Creating Online Components and Increasing Commitment to Technology and 21st Century Teaching. My name is John Goggin. I'm honored to be here with you and will assist you in any way I can. I too seek continuous improvement and believe together we can make a difference. So let's get started. Table of contents. We will be covering a few parts in this training guide. Part 1, making meaning. Part 2, change management cycle. Part 3, K-12 students versus adult learners. Part 4, usability and accessibility. Part 5, using protocols. And Part 6, creating an online PLC. We begin by taking a look at some top-performing countries according to academic achievement scores: Singapore, Japan, Hong Kong, and Canada. As you can see, Singapore leads science, math, reading, closely followed by Japan, Hong Kong, and Canada. A little ways down, the United States, which we would like to see improve. Some things that contribute to Singapore's success: a leader in technology integration. They built up proper infrastructure and they got the technology into their schools. 2, they train their teachers to use the technology. And 3, they continue to experiment and upgrade and integrate. These are all really strong things. Japan's success, well, they're like the U.S. Technology integration is happening at varying rates. They do see the value in technology. Starting in 2020, they're going to be introducing computer programming classes as a second language. Probably one of their most strong things is they use lesson study, which is a collaborative design process. They all get together, they design a lesson, and then all the teachers use that lesson. Hong Kong success, well, they're still working on building up infrastructure. Many of their schools don't have the technology other than ebooks. One thing they do well is rote memorization. Memorization is part of the first category of Bloom's taxonomy, and it is considered a precondition to moving higher levels of thought. They do this well. Last, Canada. Canadian success. Let's see. Canada struggles with cell phones in the classroom, but most students own cell phones. So what they've been trying to do is incorporate cell phones into their classrooms, and what they've noticed is that those schools that adopted more flexible policies got better results. They also noted that students learned to become more responsible with their devices, and this is something that we're struggling with right now and trying to figure out how, bring your own device, how everything plays out in the classroom. Some thoughts on all of these countries. Well, all of them are aware of the importance of technology in society. They've made a commitment to a vision and to follow it. And I think if we can do more of this, we can have the same kind of success. Oftentimes, we spread ourselves too thin and we get distracted and we lose some of the vision, or trying to tackle too many things. So I think if we make that focus, I think we could see an improvement like these countries. Part 2, change management cycle. Education is affected by changes in our society. We must make changes and adapt to the needs of the time and the needs of the students. Change can be viewed as a cycle. Current state, identify the change, engage the people, implement the change, future state, which becomes the current state. As noted, change is how we get from our current state to our future state. It is where we are currently at to where we end up as we work through each phase of the cycle. Identify the change. Change must be identified early so that it can be communicated. It's important so that people can embrace change and they can plan out the necessary steps that they need to take. Engage the people. People need to be allowed certain reactions to change. They need time to accept their emotions. They need a voice in the change. They need to be able to submit feedback. They need to be engaged in the change process and feel like they are a part of it. Implement the change. When implementing change, it is important to continue communication. People need to be in the loop. They need to know what progress is being made, if any minor problems have occurred, what the new current state is, and if a new change cycle is needed. Part 3, K-12 students versus adult learners, differences and challenges. What are some differences, challenges between K-12 students versus adult learners? Take a moment and pause this video. Some things, K-12 students directed by others such as parents or teachers, while adult learners are largely self-directed. K-12 students generally limited life experiences, while adult learners draw on a lifetime of experiences. K-12 students open to new information, malleable and adaptable. Adult learners have a developed belief system and are less open to information that contradicts their belief system. K-12 students expect to learn in school and tend to learn quickly. Adult learners have various expectations about learning, sometimes learn slower, but learn just as well. K-12 students told to learn because it will help them in the future. Adult learners want to meet immediate goals and needs. K-12 students attend classes with students of similar age, educational background, and skills. Adult learners come from diverse ages, backgrounds, uneven skills, and educational levels. What are some ways we can engage adult learners? Please take a moment and pause this video. Well, we have Knoll's 4 principles of adult learning: involvement, experience, relevance, problem-centered. Involvement: give adult learners a voice, include them in planning and development, encourage them to give feedback. Experience: use personal experiences, both negative and positive, so students can relate and understand how information is applicable to them. Develop lessons with immediate relevance. They should resonate with their career and social roles. 4, problem-centered: engage in lessons on a current problem they have. What are some ways we can teach and motivate adult learners effectively? Please take a moment and pause this video. Some things to consider: the 3 common themes of transformational learning. 1, centrality of experience. 2, critical reflection. 3, rational discourse. Centrality of experience: adults perceive new ideas through the lens of past experiences, which may need to be challenged in order to open up to new interpretations of learning. Critical reflection: questioning current assumptions and accepting the possibility they may not be the whole story. Rational discourse can help critical reflections turn into action and alter understanding of a subject. Part 4, usability and accessibility, training through UDL and UbD. Incorporating basic tenets. 1, multiple means of representation. 2, multiple means of action and expression. 3, multiple means of engagement. Multiple means of representation. We all approach content differently and have different preferences for grasping information: visual, auditory means, printed text, etc. Providing information through different modalities that can be adjusted by each learner will make the information more accessible and perceptible. Multiple means of action and expression. We navigate learning environments differently and should have the option to navigate and interact with learning experiences that work best for us. We should be able to demonstrate what we know differently. Multiple means of engagement. We are motivated differently and prefer different forms of engagement. For example, some prefer discussion forums, some prefer chat sessions, and others prefer to work alone. Concept strategy guide to help incorporate these basic tenets. Concept: when presenting new content, offer choice of learning and structure. Strategy: individual, group, hands-on learning, online, etc. Concept: presenting new content using strategy, real-life materials, online resources, etc. Concept: scaffold student learning. Strategy: review from previous lessons, calibrate tasks into steps and levels. Concept: teach to a variety of learning styles. Strategy: visual, auditory, etc. Concept: allow students to validate their knowledge in multiple ways. Strategy: any way that they are comfortable with. Frustrating design example 1, teacher training and UDL. Teacher training is usually by direct instruction and can often lack the basic tenets of UDL. This can limit learner choice and preference for taking in information and interacting with other learners. Some thoughts: training is usually done on Saturdays here, and teachers pick out 3 to 4 courses and meet in different classrooms. Each course is by direct instruction. The instructional leader for each course could easily provide a link to teachers who would prefer to watch or read their lecture or other resources. This would allow them to work on their own pace and in groups of their own choosing, or by themselves if they want. Another option would be to set up a flipped environment, let teachers access materials for the courses they chose beforehand, so when they come to class they start working on skills they need right away. Frustrating design example 2, PLC meetings and UbD. Planned right, PLC meetings are a tremendous benefit to teachers. They provide opportunities to collaborate and reflect on teaching practices, instruction, etc. However, not planned right, they can become dysfunctional. Here are some examples of how poor planning can lead to dysfunction. Lack of norms. Without norms, a PLC meeting can become dysfunctional. Norms should be developed and revisited from time to time. Lack of goals. Without goals, PLC meetings will lack purpose and destination. Goals and an action plan should be created and in place. Lack of communication. Without established norms and goals, communication problems can occur. They can also occur if shared leadership is absent. Some thoughts. The principles of UbD can be applied to planning an effective PLC meeting. Below is a chart that shows connections between UbD and PLCs. This can be used as a guide when planning PLC meetings. Just follow UbD template as you would with lesson planning. So, as with lesson planning, UbD, desired results. PLC, what will they know, understand, and be able to do? UbD, acceptable evidence. PLC, how will we know they are learning it? UbD, learning plan. PLC, what teaching and learning experiences we will provide. What will we do when they already know it? What will we do if they don't learn it? What teaching and learning experiences were effective? How do we know? Protocols encourage active engagement. Some things we can do to help adult learners be actively engaged in their learning. Create a socially and emotionally safe learning environment. Value the learner's previous experiences. Encourage dialogue between learners and others. Challenge existing thoughts and ideas while still allowing for self-direction. Discerning engagement. We can look for physical responses, see if students are mentally engaged in a topic, make observations, communicate often, allow for self-direction, and be available for support and assistance. Increasing engagement. It's important to have the right balance, the level of challenge to ability, increase feelings of competence, and avoid impairing intrinsic motivation. Part 6, Creating an Online PLC, 21st Century Teachers. I've attended many PLCs. In some PLCs, we've done our scope and sequence. Some we made sure lesson plans were aligned to academic standards. Others we shared lesson ideas, collaborated on supported other subjects, many other things. Effective PLCs. Things that were effective about these PLCs were shared goals, collaboration, finding and testing new methods, and continuously seeking improvement. One thing that needed change in our PLCs was technology availability and use. Usually we didn't have a device, or if the devices we had wouldn't connect to the other devices or to the smart board. So Setting norms for PLCs. We set norms at the beginning of each year. Some example norms: begin and end PLC meeting on time, attend all meetings and stay on agenda, respect questions and show respect for views of others, come prepared with all necessary resources and tools, stay positive. Tips for establishing norms. Norms should be stated as commitment to acts. For example, we will maintain a positive tone at PLC meetings. Review norms at the beginning and end of each meeting until all members have internalized them. Adhere to norms. Any violations should be addressed. Avoid a long laundry list of norms. Selecting online tools for PLCs. Whatever tool you decide on, it should be capable of combining video, audio, text, and images, and should be able to create presentations, tutorials, whatever, but it should be appealing to different types of learning styles. This video was done using Adobe Captivate, but there's many others out there.